The City of Scottsbluff has submitted a letter of interest to the Nebraska Arts Council to be designated as a creative district and be eligible for associated grants. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, during last Monday's City Council meeting, Scottsbluff Creative District Steering Committee Chair Rita Stinner addressed council members explaining the ins and outs of this program. She says the Creative District is a well-defined geographic area that contains a high concentration of cultural activities and resources. Scottsbluff's stretch of Broadway and East Overland already encompasses many of those requirements, including the Midwest Theater, West Nebraska Arts Center, 18th Street Plaza, and the Guadalupe Center. Stinner says many communities across the state are already vying for the designation and funding, but if chosen, the economic impact would be tremendous.
The application process is complicated and lengthy, and it doesn't diminish over time. It takes a village, as they say. There are lots of hoops to jump through, but if chosen, we will have a 5-year commitment as a certified cultural district, and we receive a one-time, non-matching grant of $10,000. We are then eligible for some or part of a yearly $250,000 creative district grant.
Stinner added that the City of Scottsbluff would also be eligible for a portion of a statewide $250,000 grant that replenishes each year. Well, a shattered man charged with first-degree murder and felony use of a firearm will be back in a Dawes County District Courtroom tomorrow. 21-year-old Ian Sage Littlemoon is accused of killing 72-year-old John Martinez, who was in a relationship with Littlemoon's 33-year-old sister at the time of the shooting. Now, this past July, the defendant was accused of leaving the murder scene before police arrived, fleeing in a stolen minivan that was abandoned near White Clay, and he was arrested by tribal authorities on the Pine Ridge Reservation. Littlemoon is slated to be back in court Tuesday afternoon for a status conference on the charges before District Judge Travis O'Gorman. We'll have more news right after this.
At Platte Valley Bank, you don't have to be like a tortoise and carry your home on your back. They have mortgage experts that can help you finance the home that's perfect for you. Whether you're a first-time home buyer looking for your next home or simply want to refinance the home you're in, the experienced lenders at Platte Valley Bank are there to help. Contact them at pvbank.com or call and visit with one of the mortgage experts to take advantage of great rates at Platte Valley Bank.
Welcome back. Last week, a federal court jury unanimously found that Chadron State College failed in its responsibility to support a female student raped by another student on campus in 2016. The jury awarded the woman, an international student from Africa, $300,000. Chadron State says in a statement that it appreciates the jury's hard work, but disagrees with the verdict and will appeal. Scottsbluff attorney Marn Chalupka said her client was overwhelmed with the joy and gratitude towards the jury because it meant she's finally been heard and respected. Well, a November survey by the Nebraska State Education Association says staff shortages, mental health concerns, and pandemic-induced stress are pushing students and educators alike to the breaking point. More than 3,100 association members responded to the survey, and NSEA President Jenny Benson says nearly 1/3 of educators plan on leaving the profession at the end of the current school year.
This is a crisis, and we need to look at how do we meet the needs across the board to figure out how do we raise salaries and benefits and be able to pay paras and bus drivers and custodial staff what we need to pay them so that they stay in. the field, because we spend a lot of time training folks. We spend a lot of time giving these resources, and then we end up having to start over.
Benson says the results show the social, emotional, and academic toll caused by the pandemic is compounding, and the situation is worse this school year than it was last year. She says increased student behavior issues are, in part, a reflection of the stress, and the NSEA is calling for some of the state's federal COVID funds to be used to provide more support services for students, staff, and educators. And Nebraska State Troopers responded to more than 150 weather-related incidents during the winter storm that covered much of Nebraska with snow on Friday. One of those incidents involved a trooper's patrol unit being struck by a semi while the trooper responded to another crash. This weekend, stormy weather also caused delays stemming from Wyoming, as much of I-80 and I-25 are closed, causing travel impacts in Nebraska for motorists trying to head west. Well, coming up after the break, Bill Boyer in with your full week weather forecast. KNEB.TV News will be back right after the break.
A community is connections, friends, family, schools, teams. At Allo, we're honored to be a part of your community. As members of the community, we're committed to ensuring people stay connected to the services they need. That's why we're participating in the FCC's Emergency Broadband Benefit Program. We're providing low and no-cost broadband to qualifying community members. Go to allofiber.com/EBB to learn more.
My name is Angela and I'm with Langer Industrial Services. There's a huge technology part in metal, just with all the programs we use, running the scale and paying people all the software. He does 24/7 ransomware monitoring, making sure the programs run smoothly, making sure everything's running properly. So it's nice to have Jeremy there to call when things go wrong. He's always there right away. He's, within 30 minutes he shows up.
ERH Technology Solutions, we make technology work for you.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Well, quiet weather conditions here across the area tonight into tomorrow. Just some clouds around, temps falling down into the 20s. Winds are going to remain light. A very pleasant evening coming our way. Mild one more day tomorrow before we turn sharply colder on Wednesday. High winds are expected. We'll have some rain and snow in the forecast as well. Generally just an unsettled weather pattern coming up. And again, the biggest story very, very well may be the winds. 51 yesterday after a morning low of 26, those both above normal. Speaking of above normal, we're back on the above normal side for precip for the month at 600s above normal, 3 inches or so below where we should be for the year. Let's take a look at temperatures here this evening. We've got mostly 40s out here, very pleasant early December, mid-December actually now night. 30s and 40s all across our region. And winds that are fairly light, 10 miles an hour or less, gusts under 15 to 20, so not too much to worry about. Enough to drop wind chills into the 20s and low 30s out there, though, across the area. Well, we do have some high wind warnings and watches out, mostly high wind watches. These are going to be for a large portion here of the region. We're going to be dealing with quite a bit in the way of winds out here. This is for Wednesday. Now, some of these wind-prone areas in Wyoming are going to see some winds tomorrow, but this is a huge system. Look at all this area here encompassed by these high wind watches. Really, all the central part of the United States going to be dealing with windy conditions as we go through the day on Wednesday. Out in front of this big system, a very strong system, but again, we're going to be dealing with quite a bit of wind and really a huge swath of the country under some high wind warnings, watches, and advisories for this system. It's going to expand well out into the rest of the high plains as we go through the day on Wednesday. Getting on the bus tomorrow, it's going to be mostly cloudy. We're dealing with 24 on the way to school. On the way home, we'll be in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees. Let's take a look at Futurecast tonight. All quiet on the weather front. Nothing going on out there. Just a few clouds overhead. That's about it. Quiet conditions and temps that are going to fall down into the 20s overnight for lows, for the most part anyway. A couple of low 30s snuck in there at some higher elevations. Now, as we take a look at tomorrow, the day starts off with a few clouds, and it's going to end with even more clouds. We'll have clouds pretty steady here across the region. A few breaks late in the evening, and then out in front of that next system, here it comes by Wednesday morning. You're going to see it approaching from the northwest. This is a cold front that's going to be coming in out here in the areas of Wyoming. That's going to slide our way and drag itself across the region as we go through the day on Wednesday, bringing colder temps behind it and rain and snow showers to the area. 50s, even a few low 60s tomorrow. Slightly warmer conditions in areas here where there was not as much snowfall with this system. That's why you're seeing some of those temps that are a little warmer in those areas. Over the next 36 hours, we don't expect much in the way of rain or snow. That will change, though, as we go into the day on Wednesday. Some clouds overnight, 23 for a low tomorrow. We'll call it mostly cloudy. A nice day, though. Temperatures in the low 50s with light and variable winds. And take a look at this 7-day forecast. The pick day is certainly on Wednesday. Not only are we going to be dealing with rain and snow showers, but it is going to be windy as well out there on Wednesday. So plan accordingly for that. And then we've got temps that fall down into the 40s is all for highs from Wednesday all the way through Monday of next week. Some colder days in there and some milder days, but all in all, a more active forecast over the next 7 days.
Are new windows from Renewal by Andersen a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Andersen right now? Do the math. Renewal by Andersen windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Andersen, a great investment? You're darn right.
This is John. He's not an actor or a director. Can you tell? He calls himself a steward of the land. And by the looks of the way he nurtures his little corner of the earth, it's safe to say he's the real deal. John runs with us on a John Deere 3 Series tractor because you can never underestimate the value of a little tractor time. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Visit 21st Century Equipment in Alliance, Torrington, Scottsbluff, and Bridgeport, or visit 21stcenturyequipment.com.
The Evergreen Credit Card by FNBO. Earn unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase. Every day. Everywhere. Never worry about expiring points or category restrictions. Plus, there's no annual fee. Only from the Great Big Small Bank. A bank ever ready for you to earn more, wherever life leads. Evergreen by FNBO.
Now, sports from the FNBO Sports Desk. FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank.
Glad to have you along for today's TV update from the Sports Desk. We'll start on the mat and finish on the hardwood. High school wrestling over the weekend featured some area teams, Gering and Scottsbluff included, in action at the Charlie Lake Invitational in Cheyenne. Both the Bulldogs and the Bearcats registered top 6 finishes in the team standings. Gering senior Jacob Oswicius grabbed Gering's only first place finish at 182 pounds as the Bulldogs finished 3rd overall. Oswicius says despite some graduation losses off last year's state title team, he and the Bulldogs are hungry for more once again this season.
We are hungry to get on top of that podium, and it's kind of rubbing off on all those other guys, all those underclassmen too, that they see us, how hard we want to work to be able to get there, and so they're kind of following in our footsteps. They're watching us all the time, that they're constantly asking us for technique advice and stuff, and so I'll be sitting there practicing, and I'll have a couple of the new guys stop and say, hey, can you do that again slow so I can watch? And that there's a lot of guys in there that are doing that right now.
Gering 3rd in Cheyenne on Saturday. For Scottsbluff, they won the Cheyenne duels on Friday and then finished in 6th place in the team race at the big meet there in Cheyenne on Saturday. Scottsbluff head coach Dustin Stadola feels his team is on the rise this year.
I'm really excited for this year. We're returning quite a few starters and a handful of state qualifiers, so that's going to make it fun. As far as our schedule and stuff goes, we're keeping a tough schedule again. That's how we get tough. Wrestling new guys, learning stuff different by competing against everybody. We don't want to wrestle the same guy every weekend. We're starting to get numbers in our program as well, so that makes it even better that we can get different practice partners, get different looks, and so forth.
Like Gehring, Scottsbluff had one individual champ on Saturday with Chris Gamino winning at 106 pounds. Scottsbluff tomorrow, they'll host Alliance. Gehring travels to Cheyenne East for a duel. Early week basketball on tap for tomorrow night also with the Scottsbluff girls at Gehring. Girls action only tomorrow night. First matchup of the season for these two. Scottsbluff 5-1 early on after a 2-1 weekend in Gillette, while the Gehring girls picked up wins over Mitchell and Chadron this past weekend to improve to 4-1. We'll have it for you right here on KNEB.TV, radio as well. That'll be on the trail. Pregame starts up tomorrow night around 5:15. And the Cougar basketball teams are closing out first semester action tomorrow night. They'll be at home at Cougar Palace to take on Laramie County Community College. The Cougar women are 13-1. They picked up 3 wins over the weekend in Cheyenne, while the men, they'll be playing their first game in over a week. Chuck will have the doubleheader on KOZY 101.3 starting at 5:45. The women's game tomorrow night tips at 6. That is the latest today from right here at the FNBO Sports Desk. I'm Chris Cottrell.
The Evergreen Credit Card by FNBO. Earn unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase. Every day. Everywhere. Never worry about expiring points or category restrictions. Plus, there's no annual fee. Only from the Great Big Small Bank. A bank ever ready for you to earn more, wherever life leads. Evergreen by FNBO.
Are you looking for the perfect place to hold a wedding, family reunion, holiday office party, or business meeting? Well, look no further. The Hampton Inn Suites Hotel and Conference Center is just the place for you. We're a full-service banquet facility that can host up to 400 of your guests. Stop in and see our spacious open-concept meeting rooms and begin planning your special event or family gathering today. Let us do the work for you so you can enjoy your guests. For personal service, stop by the Hampton Inn Suites front desk.
When you call Gehring Valley Plumbing and Heating, you will have options. Repair it, rebuild it, or update it. Whether your furnace stops working or your bathtub won't drain, Gehring Valley Plumbing and Heating provides the services you need to be comfortable. Weekends, holidays, or late nights, we will be there. With over 30 years of service, our certified technicians and cutting-edge technology can keep your systems running at their peak efficiency. Gehring Valley Plumbing and Heating, every time we enter your home, we leave it a better place to live.
Well, let's take a look what's happening on today's community calendar. The Community Calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. First State Bank is now Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the same people you know and trust.
What a year 2020 was. Now's the time to get out and travel this summer to see family and friends you were not able to see this last year. Spend more time enjoying your trip by flying United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with daily flights to and from Denver. Reserve your flight today and remember United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. And don't forget, Thrifty Car Rental is here for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and hitch a ride with your BFF, Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
Why bank at a local community bank? When you choose a local community bank, you keep money in our local economy. That money helps support local jobs, schools, and businesses. Money that helps fund a stronger and prosperous community for us all to enjoy and live in. At Platte Valley Bank, we are here to help build and support the community we love being a part of. We believe that together, we can make great things happen. Platte Valley Bank.
And finally tonight, the third part of this year's Gift of Love campaign, sponsored by Riverstone Bank, was greeted with some mighty wind chills over the weekend, but that did not dampen the spirits of those receiving donations at the bank's Scottsbluff location. A box truck, van, and SUV were all nearly full with new and gently used toys, coats, and non-perishable food items, all donated by the community over 5 hours. Marketing Director Becca Pierce says she could not have been more pleased with the support this program receives year after year.
The need doesn't get any less every year. That is part of the reason we have had our program for 40 years. But the main reason that we've been able to do our program for 40 years is because the community continually will come out and support us in events like this, or with our Tree of Names, or our canned food collection.
One final portion of the campaign continues, and that's Coats for Kids, which runs through the end of this month. Donations of new coats for children can be dropped off at the Scottsbluff branch anytime through December 31st. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.